Harakiri, 1962 Japanese film, original title Seppuku, shot in black and white, directed by Masaki Kobayashi, starring Tatsuya Nakadai. The movie takes place in the early 17th century, in the days of the Tokugawa shogunate. It's the time of peace, and the shogun is sort of cracking down and dismantling the daimyos by taking away their land. As a result, many samurai find themselves without masters and without a source of income. One day, a ronin like that appears at the gates of a prosperous Ii clan, requesting the use of the forecourt to have a sort of nice, honorable place to commit harakiri, to commit seppuku, to do away with his life in a ritual manner, because he can't stand the shame of living in poverty anymore. But before he manages to go through with it, he tells his story, which gradually reveals what happened to him and what he's really doing there. So the film is considered a classic, and rightly so, I think. It's a solid, slow-burning drama, which is really a criticism of Japanese culture and traditions. A sort of de-romanticized look at the samurai honor system that shows it was in many ways broken, hypocritical, and just unnecessarily cruel, which apparently was a sort of common sentiment in Japanese society post-war. The film gradually reveals that this man, who we, the audience, may have assumed was a fraud and someone who's just come pretending to be honorable and really just wants to extort money, is actually someone who has had his entire life taken away from him by a system that he's a part of. And nobody at any point in time bothered to extend a helping hand. There's a very poignant element of the movie, which is the house traditional armor suit. At the beginning, it is shown as a venerated piece of clan legacy, representing the ideals of honor, and then at the very end, it is literally being used as a shield and then smashed down onto the ground, much like the Ii house is using the samurai rules and code as a shield to protect themselves from any actual responsibility. And of course, in the closing shots of the film, we see the armor being put together again, pointing that history can be often written by dishonorable people who will restore the old idols even though they were proven to be false. Much like some Japanese continued to idolize and romanticize and yearn for the old feudal system. I think that the film is very well shot. For most of its runtime, it consists of these static, unmoving, very deliberate shots of immobile characters, and in the finale it goes into some very dynamic and explosive and frenetic action. The duels look pretty good, and even though you can see that the hits are being faked, it begins to make sense when you learn that the madmen actually use real swords and real spears for filming, which is insane. I think the last duel in the film is incredibly climactic, and throughout the entire movie, Tatsuya Nakadai has this unbelievable aura. He has a commanding screen presence. His posture and face and voice just draw attention to themselves and make you sit and listen attentively to what he's saying every single time, which I think it really becomes the core of the film. Without such a magnetic central performance, you would be bored during all these, as I said, immobile, slow, sort of static scenes. But the way he commands those scenes keeps your interest. All in all, I love this film. I think it's fascinating, especially for someone who takes interest in Japanese culture and history, not least because it's kind of a subversive take on it.